Oh, gotta unmute the mic. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Tuesday evening edition, the Financial Thing live stream. Let me take these headphones out. Don't really need those. Hope everyone is having a great week so far. As you know, Tuesday evening we do the stocks trading 212 cryptocurrency update. Lots to get to today. As you know, the markets are, if you study the world stock markets, you're looking probably at some of the US markets, and I would imagine tomorrow we're going to see a pretty nasty market in the FTSE and the red. Today we're having a pretty brutal day on the US stock market. We're going to talk a little bit about obviously why this is happening and what the future possibly holds. Excuse me. Talk about the obviously Ukrainian-Russian situation and why I don't think there is going to be a war in the Ukraine. I think this is all posturing, and I'll tell you why. I think markets are going to be turbulent until things settle down over there, but I don't think that is going to result in a full-out war, is what you might read on the media. We're going to talk about that. What else? Oh, today we are going to look at a email that I got, which is from a financial advising company. And as you know, I'm always kind of downing financial advising companies because I don't believe that they steer you in the right direction, concerning which investments they would put you in. And I see this happening over and over and over again. I got proof in my inbox. Let me just quit that out. I got proof in my inbox just a couple of days ago, and I wanted to kind of dive into this newsletter that they sent out with this. It was like a PDF document. I'm going to show you this because I think it's very important to sort of back up what I say about financial advising companies and the way that they steer customers. So we're going to look at some of the funds that they talk about in their PDF and kind of compare them to the old Vanguard index tracker, which I highly love and adore. And yeah, we'll do some crypto news too and see what's going on in the crypto markets. Obviously, they have taken a bit of a tumble. Also, it's been a tough week unless you're in gold, which gold has seemed to have maintained pretty well, which is the safe haven asset when things get turbulent in the investing world. People move towards gold, which we've seen happening. And that can change very quickly, obviously, when the economic stability starts to settle down. But we have a lot of unknowns out there at the moment, which is resulting in volatility and turbulence in the financial markets. Nothing new here. Oh, by the way, if you're a fan of wrestling, you might appreciate this shirt. Got the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man to, I don't know if you can see him, but a little bit of a retro t-shirt on today. Anyway, let's get right to it. Who's on the stream tonight? We got Paul in Stockport. By the way, if you are watching this live, please hit the thumbs up. Or in the future, we get a lot of people do watch these on catch up, so welcome to you. If you haven't viewed the stream, you can always watch it live. If not, watch it on catch up. But hi, Paul in Stockport, Colin in the Peak District, Paul Bagworth in Parwich in the Peak District too. So 2 Peak Districters. Can still hear the background music. Yes, it's gone now. Evening, Peter Vince, much calmer down here in Leatherhead. Brian in Woburn. Mike Powell, Paul Bagworth, and everyone else who's watching. If you want to say hi, put your message in the chat. Also, I think we're going to do something different a week today. What I want to do is maybe bring somebody from the audience live on the stream. So if you have anything that is a possible blockage, and I'm not talking about a poo blockage, but I'm talking about anything mentally that is blocking you from within your investing life, and you want to maybe chat about it live, I would invite you to come on the stream with me. And there's always hesitation for me to offer this because, of course, there's always the possibility that nobody takes me up on this and I look like a complete fool. But I'm going to just throw caution to the wind and offer it to anybody out there in YouTube world that maybe wants to discuss things in their financial life, maybe that I can help you with or we can discuss. If you'd like to do that, you can drop me an email at help@financialthing.com or hop in the Facebook group or the Discord, send me a message there. And let's see if we can get some interesting content revolving around that, just to try something different. Let's get to the news and take a quick look at what's going on in the markets today. The markets actually started off quite well, but right now we're seeing the Dow minus 1.6%, the S&P minus 1.25%, and the NASDAQ minus 1.38%. Some of these tech stocks today getting really hammered. Twitter at -3%. I think Tesla was down about 4%. Even the QQQs down 1.17%. So yeah, rough day on the, let's have a look at the trusty VTI index fund. Now this is the S&P total stock market index fund through Vanguard, down 1.27%. And let's see if anything is holding its own today. Yeah, gold here, the Spider Gold Trust is up a little bit, almost 0.25%. Barrick Gold getting hammered, down 1.94%. And then GDXJ, which we added to the position of a portfolio this week, down 1.26%. You can see there's some real volatility, and I think you'll see the FTSE 100 tomorrow definitely heading into red territory. And why is that? Well, it's obviously a lot to do with this Putin situation. This guy is a master chess player. He is very good at what he does, and we're seeing it right now. There's a lot of news media out here saying Putin has ordered forces into rebel eastern Ukraine regions after recognizing their independence. Now, I will say I don't always believe what I read. I think, again, some of this is posturing. But I personally don't believe that. Oh, and by the way, where are these 2 independent regions? I had to look that up because I had never heard of them. So we've got Luhansky, which I'm sure I have not pronounced that correctly, and then Donetsk down here, which are the 2 independent regions. So I'm imagining, if I had to take a wild guess, that he is coming from the borders over here into these regions. Don't know that for sure, just reading what I've read on the media. But what I personally believe is that there will not be a full-scale, quote-unquote, conflict or invasion. I think this is mainly posturing because I think what Putin wanted to do was to create some disruption in the Ukrainian government, because they have a primarily sort of a Western-based government over there that's been very stable. the economic situation in the Ukraine has been a lot better over the last couple of years, and they've started to really maintain that stability that a lot of these other Russian break-off countries have not been able to do. And I don't think that Putin likes that. And I think what he wanted to do was to create this turbulence, and the way that that's been caused is through these Western governments like Boris Johnson and also President Biden, who's been causing a lot of fear within the Ukraine, probably talking to the Ukrainian government over there, saying, hey, you better watch out. This guy's going to invade you. And he's pretty much, I think, Putin has caused what he wanted to cause, which is fear and maybe a regime change so he could put in his own puppets into the Ukraine. Who knows? I mean, Putin is a masterful chess player, but I'm pretty sure that there will not be a full-scale conflict. I think there may be some disruption there. But anyways, once this dies down, the situation, which I never really think it will, then you'll see some stability coming back into the stock market. You'll definitely see crude really start to take off, I believe. So if you're investing in oil, it's not a bad time. Yeah, that's my take on what's going on in the Ukraine. We had a article, it was interesting, on Yahoo Finance, which said, investing like a recession is coming makes no sense. This is from a strategist. We got a lot of uncertainty in the markets because many people believe there's a recession coming, which I do too, absolutely. I think it's just a matter of time before there is a major recession in the US, which will fall out to other countries. But this JP Morgan veteran says you should be risk on at the moment. We think it's wrong to position for a recession given still extremely favorable financing conditions, very strong labor markets, under-leveraged consumer, strong corporate cash flows, and banks' strong balance sheets. And I think the banks are maybe one of the places you could look to put money that might be a strong place that might see some serious growth. The sector leadership remains risk on. It's not consistent with a continued slowdown. So sometimes these analysts just get it wrong anyways, but I do kind of agree that we are sort of in a risk-on environment at the moment. There isn't anything that's necessarily happened that would lead one to say, I need to pull money from the markets. I think it's coming for sure. These interest rate rises may be very, very impactful, especially the people that borrow money, businesses that borrow money, but we haven't seen it yet. So far, we've seen very small interest rate bubblings. Over in the UK and the US, nothing except for some mortgage raises. But I think when that happens, that's time to look at what's going on, maybe pay special attention to the markets at that point. But I do agree with the risk on at the moment. It's definitely good to have some cash sitting around if you can, ready to strike when the markets do fall down. That's my analysis. Maybe wrong, but that's what I believe is going to happen. Now, let's talk about an email that I got from this company called the SIP Club. And it said how to avoid losing money in the worst funds with Spot the Dog. And I was very interested about this Spot the Dog. And I'll tell you why, because I used to follow this website called Dogs of the Dow. And I'll leave these links in the description below. But Dogs of the Dow was a stock picking strategy that devoted to selecting the highest dividend paying Dow stocks and to gauge the performance of doing simply that. You can look back through the years of this Dogs of the Dow. It's an interesting website. I don't know that it necessarily works well because you gotta, obviously timing is important, but it's an interesting strategy and one that I think I tried for a little while and then dumped all my stocks and went into the index trackers. But this Spot the Dog, sparked my interest. So I went to the website Best Invest, powered by Tinley, and this is their service. They're a financial advisement company, who you can see here offers pension and retirement advice, SIPs, and financial advising. And I wanted to see what this document exactly is. You can check it out if you want to too. It's bestinvest.co.uk is the website. I'll put the link to this PDF document so you can download it yourself, because it can be a little bit difficult to find. By the way, hit the thumbs up if you can. Appreciate that. So this is a guide. It says the guide to fund managers would love to ban. Basically what this guide is showing the worst professionally managed funds throughout the world. So it does the UK, it does the US, and it also lists what the premium funds are. It tells you how to identify dog funds, what you should look out for, why you shouldn't put your money into these funds. I'm presuming this marketing material is designed to get people to sign up to this financial advising firm because they're going to give them lots of advice. Let's go down to some of the data that they have in here. Data. They talk about Invesco, BNY Mellon, Fidelity. They have a little write-up on some of the bad funds that these companies offer. So we'll start here. I think it's, again, very interesting. What I ended up doing is putting some of their pedigree picks into a spreadsheet and then comparing it to our trusty index tracker and just seeing, how these funds have performed. So you can see here in the doghouse, first of all, I hope this is big enough. Let me make that bigger for you. Invesco UK High Equity Income Fund. We know Invesco is a very popular fund in the UK. But you can see their 3-year return is minus 29%. What this document is showing you is if you put in £100, the 3-year return on 100 would result in minus 29 quid. Minus 29%. That's the worst performing, and then it lists some of the other funds like Schroeder, Halifax, Threadneedle, UK Opportunities, Jupiter, minus 7% for 3 years. And then what it goes on to list down here is the pedigree picks with Premier Milton UK Growth with a 51% 3-year return, Artemis 43%. Some of these big funds that you know and you've heard so much, Fidelity down here, AXA, Framlington. And you can see the best performing one is 51% for a 3-year cumulative relative return. So we can go all the way down. Let's have a look at some more. UK Equity Income. Let's see here. Come on. It's a little bit slow. So the dogs minus 40%, LFASI Income, BNY Mellon Equity Income Booster minus 17%, Janus minus 9%. Some of these big name firms that charge a lot of money. And then pedigree picks here. Threadneedle UK Equity Income at 10%, 3-year return. BlackRock 4%. So nothing really mind-blowing. We got the Euro funds here, so on and so forth. Let's see what else here. Japanese. Japanese dogs. That's funny. And then North American. Let's have a look what they write about the North American dogs. We got the GAM North American gross minus 61%. And again, this is a managed fund. These funds have professional stock pickers picking out which ones you should buy. Fidelity American. Look at this, minus 23%. And then the pedigree picks, Brown Advisory, U.S. Sustainable Growth at 46%. Morgan Stanley, U.S. Advantage, 11% return. So not really looking good. Even their pedigree picks are minus 26% here at the bottom. And then we have the global emerging markets. Pretty much, again, whatever. Not really much to see there. I love the dogs though. Look at that cute dog. And then the global dogs here. These are the worst funds for you consider global stock funds that buy stocks from all over the globe. Kennex Strategic Value minus 67%. Look at this. Jupiter Global Value Equity minus 43% over 3 years. And then you got UBS, St. James, the big names. Let's see the pedigree picks. Okay, we have a winner here, Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. If you were a investor in this, you would have gotten 121% return, but the rest of them kind of standard. You can see even here Fundsmith, which is the massive fund where you see ads all over London buses at a 12% relative 3-year return. So what I wanted to look at, first of all, what's really important about this document is you'll notice one thing. Hopefully you notice this, because I did straight off the back. There is no index trackers on this list. And primarily, there's no index trackers on this document because I've said this so many times, financial advising companies will not generally push you to an index tracker because they don't make any money off trailing commissions annually from index trackers through Vanguard and Fidelity. The way they really make money is off these trailing commissions from all of these managed funds, which tend to do invariably worse than our beloved index tracker that I keep hopping on over and over and over again to really, bring in a point that it's so important to pay attention to. So guess what? I made a little spreadsheet here today, and I wanted to show you here, if you invested 100 grand, and these are the top of the premier, pedigree picks, which haven't really done badly. I mean, if you looked at these, they've done pretty well. You can see the Premier Milton, which was on top of the pedigree, UK growth. If you put in 100K, you're going to end up with 151K after 3 years. Good. Artemis, you'll end up with 143,000. Threadneedle, 110,000. So on, so forth. Let me see if I can move this up a little bit so you can see it better. Let's take that out. So yeah, if you put in 100 grand on their pedigree picks, this is what you'd end up with. The real winner was the Scottish Investment Trust, which you would have ended up with 221,000. So if you happen to get put into that fund singularly, you would have done really well. Chances are what these investment companies are going to do is put you into a bucket of funds, and you're going to get an overall return, which is obviously substantially lower to the Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. But that was a good one. But here is the Vanguard US Equity Index Tracker, which I've been hopping on about. You would have ended up with 185,000 pounds off of 100,000 pounds invested for 3 years. So if you'd have followed this financial advising company's recommendations, this is what your opportunity cost loss would have been on each of these funds. You can see the Premier Milton, I think I might have spelled that wrong, or maybe it's Premier Mighton, minus 34,000 pounds compared to what you would have made on the index tracker. It gets worse down here with the Threadneedle UK equity. You would have lost 75,000 pounds in opportunity cost, and then so on and so forth. The only one that, again, was a winner, you would have made another 36,000 pounds. I think I did that right. Yeah, between the difference between the 185,000 that you would have made on the index tracker total to the 221,000 total on the Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. So you can see on average, you're not going to be doing very well, and this advisor firm would have really cost you money if they were putting you into those pedigree picks. And again, really hopping on this point of how these financial advising companies, not saying they're all bad, there are some fee-based ones that may direct you in the right way, but for the most part, they are still trying to put you into these old school managed funds where they're charging 1%, 2%, 3% for the fund fee per annum. And then on top of that, the advising company is charging another probably 0.5 to 1% on top of that. And they're putting you into managed funds, which I certainly don't think the best ones. Again, not financial advice, just wanted to highlight your typical financial advising company and how they direct people. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments or in the chat. If you think this is a pretty standard situation with financial companies, or if maybe this is a one-off, or you don't necessarily agree with this, I'd be interested to know what you think. I thought it was interesting data. You can see here on the graph list. I just made a graph and just to show you the difference here between some of these funds and what the Vanguard here on the right had returned compared to, you can see it towering over the returns of everything but the Scottish one, which I didn't put on this list. I didn't have time, but you can see here, you're just going to get a much better return historically with the Vanguard US equity. Now, there's no guarantee. Obviously, in the future, it will continue to be that way, but all we can do is look at history. And 3 years is really not a very long time frame to study this. We'd be better off looking at 15. But again, just wanted to look at what the report said and these different returns on these managed funds that you could expect to get if this company were to put you into that as a investing client. So interesting. Let's look at the trading 212 portfolio. Is getting absolutely, well, not absolutely. It's had a bit of a beat down today. As you know, I think oil was doing pretty good at the beginning of the day and then just kind of has gone somewhat into the red. But the portfolio is still managing to hold its own a little bit. I think we're about 400 pounds down from where we were a week ago. Alibaba just can't seem to claw its way out of the red. We're down now 20%. CleanSpark down 41%. And Hut 8 Mining down 27%. Obviously, cryptocurrency is taking a battering today. Palantir is approaching down the red of almost 60%. Tullow Oil -7%. But we've got some winners. Vermilion Energy for almost 40% in the green. Occidental 31%. Lloyds Bank still over 100% in the green. Laredo LPI 26%. So if you're a Patreon member, you will have seen that I posted the stock portfolio that I actually hold with all of the allocations and the amounts in there. So if you want to see some real numbers, feel free to join the Patreon. It's very cheap, less than 1 cup of coffee. No, it's about 1 cup of coffee a month. But yeah, these are what's going on in the portfolio. It's looking good. I think the gold has been a winner. Barrick, you can see we're up 9.47%, which, you know, considering when everything else is kind of going backwards, that's a really, really good result. We're down a little bit today, but gold, which I'm definitely normally not a fan of, but I think right now might be a safe haven until all of this Ukraine situation passes through. Let's talk about what's going on in this this Canada situation. If you've been following the news at all, you know about this trucker process that is going on in Canada. Basically, the truckers do not like the mandates that are being imposed by the Canadian government for the pandemic, and they are protesting. And it's really been a very eye-opening story to watch unfold, because the things that I saw going on in Canada, and I hope the channel doesn't get shut down for me saying this, but you have to speak the truth. I always consider Canada to be a pretty free will country that was progressive, and it seems like Mr. T, who's the president of Canada, is trying to really do some horrible things to these protesters to shut them down. Now, some of the main things that I've noticed that is a good reason to pay attention to cryptocurrency, and I'm going to tie this all in together, but people often ask me, I don't believe in crypto. Why would I want to invest in it? I think the Canadian situation is exactly why you would want to consider having some cryptocurrency. If we look into what's happened in Canada, we got the truckers who are protesting, and the Canadian government trying to shut them down through force. Now, if we look at the Wikipedia, there's some very interesting things here. The crowdsourced platform Gofundme raised money, not them directly, but there were some organizers that put together a GoFundMe to raise funds for these truckers, and that started in January 14th of 2022. So the convoys GoFundMe raised over 5 million Canadian dollars by January 25th. So 11 days, $5 million to help support the truckers. On February the 2nd, GoFundMe flagged the fundraiser for review and paused donations, saying it was investigating to ensure the fundraiser was in compliance with the platform's terms of service. The fundraiser by then had 10 million Canadian dollars from approximately 120,000 donors. There's a lot of people behind this GoFundMe. Then, crazily, on the evening of February 4th, GoFundMe removed the campaign permanently for violating their terms of service. A convoy fundraiser on the fundraising website GiveSendGo launched following the GoFundMe removal and attracted over $8.2 million as of February 2010. Sorry, February 10th, 2022. This is where things get a little weird. Then the Attorney General of Ontario, Canada, sought and was granted a Superior Court justice order against GiveSendGo, the fundraising channel, to freeze the funds collected from the two campaigns. Freedom Convoy, US $8.4 million collected, and Adopt a Trucker, over $686,000 collected. And this court order prohibited the distribution of this money, which is crazy. Then by February 19th, at least 76 bank accounts linked to the protests, totaling Canadian $3.2 million, were frozen under the Emergencies Act. Now, this is Canada, and whatever the Canadian government's reasons for doing this, it's very eye-opening and very scary that they would be able to go in and influence a website company like GoFundMe and GiveSendGo to try to stop the funds being distributed to the truckers. So what they're essentially doing is strangle-holding these protests. And interestingly enough, this was crazy. Following that, the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, investigates GoFundMe over the Canadian trucker donations because what GoFundMe put in as a mandate to begin, and then this lady got taken down. But they said if you don't get your money back out of the GoFundMe from your donation within 7 to 10 days, GoFundMe was going to distribute the donations to charities that they considered to be legitimate. So they were going to take this donation that 100,000 people, I think, had donated, and they were going to spread it to wherever they thought that money should go, which is absolutely insane. So we had Governor DeSantis of Florida, who, I'm not a particular fan of, but I do like that he was stepping up and doing the right thing. The governor of the state of Florida said on Saturday it was fraud for GoFundMe to commandeer $9 million of donations sent to support protesting truck drivers. Absolutely. GoFundMe took down the so-called Freedom Convoy's page, saying it violated its terms and conditions. It said donors had 2 weeks to request a refund, then the remaining funds would be dispersed to credible, established charities. I mean, that's absolutely insane that they could even do that. Anyway, what does this even mean, and why am I even talking about this? There was a really interesting article by this guy, David Heinemeier Hansen, who is a Danish programmer. He created a web development framework called Ruby on Rails. If you're into web development at all, you've probably heard of it. And he came out with this article, and he said, I was wrong. We need crypto. This is February 21st, 2022. He said, I've been skeptical about Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto universe by epic proportions. There's just so much to oppose. Bitcoin's grotesque energy consumption, the ridiculous transaction fees, the low throughput, the incessant pump and dump schemes in shitcoins, the wild price swings in the main coins, the obvious fraud that is Tether, that's alleged, the lack of real decentralization, blah, blah, blah. So he was not a fan. And then he said, enter the trucker protests in Canada. In just 3 weeks of honking, blocked streets and bridges, bouncy castles, and flag waving, this peaceful protest movement managed to provoke the most shockingly authoritarian response from the Canadian government. First, the Ottawa Police Department got GoFundMe to confiscate donations with the intention of redirecting them to other causes. Then after an outcry, GoFundMe backed down to merely blocking the money for 7 to 10 days before refunding. Turns out the concern over the donations was quickly rendered insignificant, as just a few days later the Canadian Prime Minister imposed martial law on the protesters. Through powers intended for catastrophic event, he took to freeze the bank accounts of both Canadian protesters and donors, to compulsorily demand that tow truck operators clear the streets, and forced insurance companies to drop the policies for the protesters. So they would, we're going through and saying, we want you to drop the insurance policies on these trucks. That worked. Together with police storming the process with pepper sprays and stun grenades, the area in front of the parliament was clear. But even that wasn't enough. Even with the protests cleared out, the police vowed to press their new financial powers against anyone involved for months to come. So Canadians who donated to the truckers should now sleep with one eye open for the next several months, lest they have their bank accounts frozen and indictments filed on the basis of laws enacted to prevent financing of terrorism. Or maybe their banks will simply preemptively cancel their accounts if they appeared on the hacked list of donors from GiveSendGo. So the other funding company, GiveSendGo, was hacked, and the list of donators was distributed on the dark web for all to see. And this guy in the article said, "This is crazy, absolutely bonkers and terrifying. I still can't believe that this is the protest that would prove every Bitcoin crank a prophet. And for me to have a slice of humble pie and admit that I was wrong on crypto's fundamental necessity in Western democracies. In a weird way, I'm glad we all got this warning from President Trudeau in Canada and not ex-President Trump in America. It would have been far too easy for Europeans in particular to dismiss authoritarian assertions of martial law from Trump as being irrelevant to the European experience. Just like I had for so long deemed the practical desire of people in Venezuela for crypto irrelevant to the entire Western experience." Yeah, so he ends the article saying, "But wherever this leads us next, it's clear to me now that I was too hasty to completely dismiss crypto on the basis of all things wrong with it at the moment, instead of appreciating the fundamental freedom to transact that it's currently our best shot at protecting." And I think this is a really, really important article because it does really highlight how a government could simply take over and shut down financial accounts. Sure, they could try to shut down, crypto trading accounts, absolutely. But if you hold cryptocurrency on your own private wallet, there's absolutely nothing that a government can do to get that. You could bury it in your backyard and say, I don't own any crypto. It would be very hard for them to follow it. So it's kind of a travesty on what's going on right now in Canada. It's a shame that the government would be so tyrannic, such tyrants, and just to stop a protest. So this is why it's important to look at cryptocurrency. Just another reason, aside of all the other things I talked to. Now, speaking of the cryptocurrency markets, if you are a crypto investor, you're probably freaking out right now. We've just had a really nasty week of turbulence. You can see Bitcoin right now, $37,468. Not financial advice. I think this is a great entry point, although it could go lower. Absolutely. I think 36,000 was about the base point that I was looking at, but who knows? You can pick up Ethereum for $2,588 right now. Things are on sale. Cardano is down to 87 cents. Solana, 87 cents, $84. So this is obviously tied to what's going on, in the markets, in the stock market, the instability with what's going on in Russia. And there's a lot of fear from retail investors, because a lot of people who do invest retail, these are the same people that invest in stocks, and they get scared and they panic sell when things look unsettled. So what am I doing? Absolutely nothing. I haven't sold anything. I've been buying a little bit of, what did I buy this week? Oh, I bought a little bit of Bitcoin. I bought some, little bit of gaming token, Ultra. And yeah, so I think if you sit on your hands and if you're a crypto investor, that's what you should be doing now. Same with the stocks. I mean, I don't think trying to time the stock markets to sell out when things are getting turbulent is a really great idea, because this thing could shoot up tomorrow and the stock market could recover very quickly and you'll be left selling out when you could have held on. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and it's just not a good thing for people who don't have a lot of experience in trading to be trying to time. Sure, you can get it right sometimes, but same with cryptos. Best thing to do is sit on your hands. And if you haven't accumulated anything, it's a great time. I mean, everything is on sale. We got Bitcoin, down 50% from where it's all-time high. Also, just to keep it in perspective, look at Ethereum's chart. We were down in the $130 range just 2 years ago in March. We saw it spike up here to close to 4,000, then up here 4,800, I think. So it can move very, very quickly. So if you look down here, 642, December 2020 to May 2021, almost, gosh, $4,000 price hike on that. So, just keep things in perspective. These cryptocurrency markets do get turbulent, and they're not going anywhere. A couple of other bits we'll get through real quick. This, I think, is an excellent debate that's going to happen on the 23rd. I think that's tomorrow, 10 p.m. UK time. This is going to be Peter Schiff, who is a complete crypto I can't use that word. He hates crypto. And this is Richard Hart. He was the creator of the cryptocurrency Hex. This guy, some people think, is a cowboy. But he is going to debate Peter Schiff on cryptocurrency. And Richard Hart pulls no punches. This is a guy who's very entertaining to watch. He's not going to mince his words. He's going to say exactly what he believes. And Peter Schiff is the same way. So if you're interested in watching that stream tomorrow, 5 p.m. US Eastern, 10 p.m. London time, you can go to gokogroup.com, and I'll put the link in the description when we're done with the stream so you can watch it. I would highly recommend checking it out. Even if you're not a crypto fan, it's just going to be very entertaining. Might be one of the most entertaining debates in the financial industry for a while. A couple of other bits of news. Russia flip-flopping back and forth on crypto. They are submitting a bill to legalize crypto investments but to ban payments, which I don't know what sense that makes. We'll see how that goes. This is an article on Cryptos R Us about El Salvador and how they've been doing since they adopted Bitcoin about 6 months ago. Let's see, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, has put a lot of pressure on El Salvador. They don't like the fact that the country is having Bitcoin at its legal tender, but El Salvador has stayed strong. They have not faltered from this decision, and their president remains very defiant, which I think is pretty cool. His convictions are strong. So, let's see here. Nearly a quarter of El Salvador's GDP is made up of remittance payments sent from abroad, with El Salvador receiving $6 billion in remittances in 2020. This means that families are sending money to people in El Salvador. It's very expensive because they're using things like Western Union to reach their families' bank accounts. However, now participants can send Bitcoin anywhere in the world instantly thanks to the Lightning Network. And a report from CNBC predicted that Bitcoin use is going to save the nation more than $400 million a year versus Western Union. So a perfect use case. A lot of people saying Bitcoin's got no use. There's the use case right there. And I've always said that sending money internationally is not very cheap and it's very slow. But using the Lightning Network on Bitcoin, it can be done very, very fast and very, very cheaply. So El Salvador is making use out of that. And they're going to be the first of many countries to come. I'll make that prediction right now. The savings from the slash transfer fees seem to have been paying off as well, as El Salvador GDP is steadily climbing after the onslaught of the pandemic. So you can see the GDP going up here. Don't know if that's necessarily because of Bitcoin, but there could be something to that. President Nayib Bukele. Let's go down here. What are the future plans for El Salvador? El Salvador has no intentions of turning back on its Bitcoin plans. And they're going to create the first Bitcoin city, which will have zero income tax, zero capital gains tax, zero property tax, zero payroll tax, zero municipal taxes, and zero CO2 emissions. Very important, right? A lot of people always saying, oh, Bitcoin mining is bad, but El Salvador is apparently using geothermal power from volcanoes to power Bitcoin mining and transactions. So pretty cool. So that is what's going on in El Salvador. And I think that is everything that I have for you tonight. Let's take a quick look at the markets again. I just want to see what's going on with this trading 212. Hang on. Let's go to Yahoo Finance and see how the markets are. No. Yahoo Finance, come on. Yeah, you can see things have really bounced back in just that short period of time. Markets closed in 45 minutes, and S&P has bounced back. It's minus 3.7%. Look at this. Dow now only 0.9% down. NASDAQ only 0.2% down. So powerful, these fluctuations in the prices. See all of this news that it gets put on mainstream media. Stocks plunge. Yeah, some of them are plunging, but you can see here some of these news medias, I don't know, I think they just create a lot of fear. And if you're reading news stories like this and you're a stock investor, what's the emotional result going to be from that? It's going to be, I need to sell. Stocks are plunging, blah, 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 blah. And this is what creates these market falls, panic selling. So, you know, I would imagine in probably a week you're going to see an article here saying everything is fine now in Russia and stocks are rocketing. So everybody will be wishing they didn't sell. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the stream. We're going to try to get out of here before an hour. I can't believe time seems to go fast. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. And again, if you're interested in being a guest on the live stream, you want to talk about your finance endeavors or what, maybe what you're having struggles or blockages with, drop me a line, help@financialthing.com. We can hop on the stream live, have a chat. I think it'd be interesting to get some of you people out there in YouTube land or wherever you're watching from. Hasn't Russia just invaded Ukraine? Well, again, it's subjective what that exactly means. Apparently, some troops, according to the media, have gone in. We don't know exactly the details of that and whether, again, it's just posturing. But I don't know. We'll see. See if you have any interesting comments. What was the intro music? Let's see what the intro music was. I don't know. I'll probably have to put it in the link below because I just have the name of the song. It's called 80s synth wave. That's the genre. And where is it? Here we go. The first song was called Hackers. I honestly don't know who it was by, but if you put in Hackers synthwave song in YouTube, you'll probably find it. Then the other song was BETTOGH, Another World. Oh, there you go. That was pretty cool, right? Let's see. Paul New wrote, Putin hated the threat of NATO in the Ukraine. I don't know if he, I just don't necessarily think that was the reason for all of this problems. I think it was a narrative. Does Putin really care if the Ukraine is in NATO. I don't know. I think it was more about the government stability of the Western style government in the Ukraine. Putin didn't really have any, puppet string pulls in that government. That's my opinion. We'll see. Akichap, have you missed anything good? You always miss good things if you're not here on the stream, of course. Of course. Each company can do well occasionally. Yeah, we obviously, if you haven't been on the stream the whole time, we looked at some fund and recommendations from a financial advising company. And you're exactly right. It's a fluke for them. Who knows? I haven't looked back. Maybe I should do that right now. See how they've done over the last 5 to 10 years. I would imagine that 121% is definitely a complete fluke. Where is it? See if I can find it. I'm just looking at these cute dogs on this document. Let's see if we can do a search. Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. Yeah, and that's the problem with trying to pick out managed funds. What are the odds of picking that one that did the 121%? You're probably not going to get lucky. You're probably going to pick some of the other bad ones on top of it. Accept the cookies. Come on. Oh, they got to show me a bunch of important information. Oh, Lord, such a discrete performance, periodic performance. Let's take a look at the numbers. It's a good question. Let me show them to you. Not having a very good... No, I mean, it looks like they've done pretty well over 10 years, 800%. This year they're down minus 13.9%. So if you had all your eggs into that basket, you'd have been okay. But not necessarily much better off than the Vanguard Index Tracker, funnily enough. And you've had a lot more risk because if this fund didn't perform well, you'd have probably been crying in your chicken soup. But look at this. The share price 1 year is minus 13 when the benchmark is 16.4. So that's a 23% swing in the wrong direction. So, it's a tough one. I'm not sure I would trust an investment company to put me into that one single fund that actually did well. But they are the rule breaker. They're definitely the rule breaker. You're always going to have some funds that do well. They're going to beat the indexes, absolutely. But do you want to take the risk that you can pick out the right one? Not me. Scottish is always on top of the charts. Big investor in tech companies. Yeah. Also, what I'm wondering now, they're seeing this negative, and this tech is going to get hammered. I think right now you're going to see that fund really start to get hurt. The Canadian government has sanctioned crypto wallets and has the power to seize the funds in them. Yes, but here's the interesting thing. If you hold your own crypto coins, which most people should be doing if you a somewhat responsible adult human being, if you have your crypto on your own wallet, there's absolutely nothing that the Canadian government could do, or any government, to take your cryptocurrency from you. Because they have to prove that you own it. That's hard. So yes, if you have your crypto on a centralized platform like Coinbase, FTX, Binance, yes, the government could ultimately come in any time and say, nope, we don't like this, we're taking all of this away. Is that going to happen? Unlikely. That's why you should keep your keys and your crypto in your own wallet if you can. Okay, boss, my trading 212 portfolio is looking a little crap at the moment. Not selling though. Managed to get some good discounts over the last month. Good. That's what you should be doing. Don't sell unless you see some crazy red flags that would lead you to want to think about that. But usually you're going to get the timing wrong. Putin robbed Russia and wants to rob the Ukraine now. Reportedly the world's richest man. Yes. Yes. Scottish mortgage has beaten the American S&P over quite some time. Absolutely, yes, of course. I mean, like I said, you're going to have some funds, but just think about over the thousands and thousands of funds that exist. If you want to pick one fund and say, I think this fund is going to be the one that beats the S&P, have at it. You know, too many people get it wrong. And you know, how would you really feel comfortable putting all your eggs into that one fund basket by Scottish Mortgage? No, I would not. They can seize the wallet. Blockchain tracks transactions, doesn't it? I don't know how they could seize the wallet. I don't. I really don't. You can't seize a Bitcoin wallet, right? And this is the beautiful thing about Bitcoin. It's no company. It's the only completely decentralized cryptocurrency in the world. And this is the beauty of it, because Ethereum is a company, right? All those other coins are companies. But if you own Bitcoin, there's no company you can go to say, we are going to seize the wallets on the blockchain. They can't do it. There's no way to do it. So that's the beautiful thing about it. So no, they can't seize the wallet. Can you easily track cryptocurrency? You cannot easily track it. No. If you're the FBI, you can do certain things to figure it out. It's still very difficult. Like when you have a cryptocurrency wallet address, all you do is have a string of numbers, and usually that cannot be tracked to a single person unless, I don't know whether the KGB or the FBI has a way to do that, but it's very difficult. I think it's very difficult to do. But the point is, so, I mean, this is an interesting, discussion, because what would you rather have? Would you rather have money sitting in a bank account that can easily be seized? Or would you rather have some diversification and say, I'm going to hold some cryptocurrency which is not easily seizable, especially if it's decentralized like Bitcoin? It's very difficult to seize, almost, I would say, next impossible. In some cases, yes, you've seen some Bitcoin tracked because that has gone in, through investigations, and it's not as simple as looking at the string of characters on a wallet address and being able to track exactly who owns that. That's through investigation that they were able to do that, and it's probably through communications with maybe a wallet holder, somebody posing to be somebody else and communicating with that wallet holder somehow, getting them to give up information. But other than that, I would much rather have my money sitting in a Bitcoin wallet than sitting in a bank account that I know can be seized like that in a heartbeat. Yeah, anyway, I think that's going to do it for have we gone over? Oh, we went over an hour again. Yeah, interesting discussions this week. Let's see what happens with the markets. Back here on Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. UK time, peer-to-peer lending live stream. I hope you enjoy the information. Thanks to every single one of you who spent the hour tonight. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Love everybody. Please subscribe to the channel, share the video. If you feel like joining the Patreon, please do so. And if not, totally fine. We need to fire up a little background music for the outro. What should we have? Should have a little, let's do this one. We'll go quiet in the background. See if you can hear that. Da, da. Oh, is it coming? Is the music coming? Hang on. There we go. All right, everyone. Have a great Tuesday and Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Thank you again. Enjoyed it. I always enjoy it, but definitely want to make it more interactive in the future with you. Get some of you guys on the stream live, maybe. Have a chat. See how it goes. Take care. See you on Thursday evening. Bye.